Hey folks, my guest today is Robin Singby. He helps deliver perfect live sales demos via his software tool, GetSmartQ.com. Robin, you ready to take us to the top?
I am, yes.
All right,
Thanks for having me on the show, Nathan.
you bet.
Uh, so,
Tell us more.
so
Tell us more about the business. So, can you maybe give us a customer example? Who's paying you, and what are they paying you for?
sure. So we have about 6 customers right now, and we have delivered SmartQ to them that enables their SaaS sales teams deliver, like the tagline says, deliver the best product demos. Most of them are based in the US. We have a couple in Europe. So early days, but we have pretty good traction, and we're getting some great feedback from the customers.
When did you launch the business?
Well, we've been building it for the better part of this year, and we've officially started selling it in September of 2021. So
So
just
last
about a
month.
month in.
When did you write a
Yes.
first line of code?
I want to say we wrote it on January 26th of this year, which happens to be, it's a big holiday in India, so that's why I remember the date.
Very cool. And when who'd you write it with? Did you write all the code, or you have co-founders?
No, it's just me. I have a team, a dev team that's doing the coding for me. I do have a technical background, but I try not to mess with the code itself. I look after the sales side of the house.
How much have you paid the dev team so far to get the product where it is today?
So we've put in about 8K of
Okay.
our own money
And
to
who's
get
we?
smart. Well, it's me and my ex co-founder who's no longer with the company. So
Okay, hold on. You got to tell me more about that. This happens all the time, but people rarely talk
yeah,
about it. So you got to tell me what happened.
yeah. Well, unfortunately, I don't think I have a juicy story there. I think we started it together, and the plan was to do it together. But my co-founder, he was still working at a different company at the time. They got acquired, and he got a pretty decent retention offer. So we just had to part ways amicably.
What about all the details? I mean, how did you get the equity back?
Well, so we reestablished the new C core, redid our paperwork, and in that, instead of being an equal split, we kind of had him take some share of the company for the time and effort that he put in, and that he will hopefully to continue to put in terms of referrals and introductions.
And how much is that? Are we talking 5% or like 30%?
Oh, no, not that big. It's in the single digits.
Okay, got it. So more like
Yeah.
5%.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, got it. So you got that taken care of. You're now sort of running the show,
Yes.
own 95% of the business. How are you bootstrapped outside of the 8K you've put in?
Yes. Just bootstrapped, all my own money. Yeah,
Okay, very cool. So you're all in now. Talk to me about
I
what these
am.
customers pay you per month on average.
So we're charging $49 per user per month, and a couple of these customers have actually signed annual contracts with us, which is pretty good. Again, validation of what we're doing, and a couple of them are still on trial, so they're still on the 30-day, 45-day trial, but we're looking at pretty good engagement numbers and adoption numbers from them. So we're very confident that they'll convert into paying customers.
So when you say 6 customers, are those 6 seats, 6 users?
No, 6 companies, and I want to say 18 users right now.
Okay, got it. So 3 on average, 3 is team size.
Yep, you can say that.
Okay, got it. So each company is paying you on average $150 a month right now.
Yes,
I
correct.
see. Okay, so you went from nothing, sort of launch sales about a month ago, to now 6 customers paying 150 a month for about $900 a month in revenue, right?
Yes, that is right.
There, 0 to 1K in 30 days, right? That's a book title right there.
Hey,
All right.
I mean, I'm glad I got on this podcast, Nathan. You make me feel a lot better than I was before I got on this call about the 1K we have in the bank.
Well, I mean, look, I don't know why it's shocking, but everyone starts at 0. So
Yeah.
everyone went to their first dollar, their first 500, their first grand. It happens to
Oh,
everybody.
yeah.
So,
Yep.
so tell us how you did it. Where'd you get these 6? How'd you land these 6 customers?
It's really just my network over the years. I've always been in B2B SaaS. I've been part of multiple health tech startups, all in the enterprise SaaS space. And so, I'd like to believe that I built up a lot of goodwill and connections for my network. And most of them actually are from my network. We have two that were, sort of cold referrals. I posted messages on Slack groups and stuff like that. I want to say,
tell me a Slack group you posted in.
Yeah, actually, that's what I was going to say. I think I posted a message in one of your Slack groups, and I got a lead from there. And October 21st, Thursday, today, I was actually on a call with the founder of that company, who said, "Yes, let's pilot SmartQ." So
when do I get my 20% affiliate commission? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, that's great. I love hearing that. Okay, good. So you're taking a target approach in SaaS groups. Well, actually, no, maybe not SaaS groups. What specific Slack groups are you going to target if you keep using that as a channel?
So I'm trying to target sales enablement SaaS groups and trying to target product marketing SaaS groups, because it's interesting that this function of building, maintaining, creating, and delivering demos resides in different functions in different companies, depending on their stage, depending on the industry. So whether it's a sales enablement function that manages that process, sometimes in a little more mature companies. And in some other companies, it's a hybrid of product and product marketing teams that actually are responsible for doing it. And then there are just sales teams, which have like sales engineers or solution consultants that actually manage and create these demos. So I'm trying to target, these type of roles at SaaS companies and trying to find whether it's Slack channels or LinkedIn groups where I can actually, spread the word and get some interest going.
I mean, when you look at like T-Sheets, and Intuit acquired T-Sheets for $350 million because T-Sheets ranked #1 in the Intuit App Exchange. There's a very clear model for growing a big SaaS company by dominating one app exchange. It just strikes me as very obvious that what you should be doing only is dominating the #1 spot in the Zoom App Exchange for sales tools. Why aren't you playing there?
I think we will. I think it's just, we're still so early that we want to make sure that we have the product nailed down, validated, getting some real good user feedback, building out the product based on user feedback, and then going into one of these channels, right? Distribution channels. So whether it's the Zoom App Store or the Salesforce App Store, or going through a app.
No, but Salesforce will be too tough. It's too mature of an app store. You'll never get to the top ranking. Zoom is the opposite. Right. It's so brand new. Okay. If you move quick, you rank high, you dominate that spot for the next 10 years, and you build $100 million business pretty quick. I just don't understand why isn't that like the #1 priority?
I don't know. I guess it'll have to be. We'll have to explore that. Right now the whole focus really was to try and land a few customers. You'll have to cut me some slack. I've just been doing this for a month now. I'm like, okay, what's the best way to do it?
Well, look, I could be wrong, by the way. I'm being polarizing on purpose, right? I mean, it just strikes me that this, from what the very little I understand, right. That's what I would be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're probably right. I think I'm going to look at it real quick, because that's the next step, right? I mean, in terms of what we're trying to do next is 1, get a technical co-founder, 2, get a growth marketer on board, and raise some funding along the way as well, and then really focus on getting that scale and traction quickly.
How much do you want to raise?
We're looking to raise about $2 million.
Why do you need $2 million to build this?
We don't need $2 million to build SmartQ, but I think we could use all the dollars that we can get to actually acquire customers.
But you don't know how to acquire customers. But you don't know how to customer. You don't know how to spend money yet to acquire customers, do you?
We have hypotheses that whether it is on SEO, whether it is actually doing Google, LinkedIn ads, we're actually trying to spend money on video. Instead of just doing, blogs and that kind of content, actually doing video content. So we have ideas on how we want to spend some of that money. But I think
that's insanity. You're going to sell such a big chunk of your business if you raise $2 million at this stage, when in my opinion, the clear free, you don't even pay for it, go to market is like dominate the Zoom App Exchange. Like why? I just don't understand. I mean, you'd have to sell, you probably raise 2 million on 4 pre, maybe 5 cap, right? Like a safe, but it's so dilutive. Why would you do that?
So I guess it's going to be a discussion, but we're talking to a few investors, and we're looking to raise 2 million on a 10 million valuation.
Insanity. That's so crazy.
Well, is it though? Is it though, Nathan? Because if you look at other companies in this space, so if you talk about some of the bigger ones, which is like Mind Tickles of the world's Chorus.ai, Gong is a big one. Those are some of the more established names. They're like almost touching $1 billion. Mind Tickle crossed $1 billion valuation. And then
Gong's at Gong's at 7.5 billion. Chorus flash sold to Zoom Info recently, where investors did
600 million.
Yeah, but that wasn't a good exit. That was a shitty exit. That was a terrible exit for how much they raised.
Sure.
Right. So like, I don't understand why you'd use them as comps.
Well, and on the other hand, the smaller companies, like, if you talk about Walnut.io, that actually just raised a 15 million Series A, they raised a 6 million seed round. There's Novatic, there's DemoFlow. So the space is heating up. Honestly, the advice I got is from quite a few people is that raise as much as you can, so that you don't go back to investors with your hat in your hand that you're out of money in like 6 months, and then deploy.
Who are those? Who are those people that you're getting that advice from?
So these are some of my bosses from some of my previous companies that have exited. They've kind of run and exited multiple startups. So I do value their opinion. But again, I'm going out and saying that this is how much I want to raise at this much valuation. Just like you said that, hey, that's kind of crazy. No one would give you this money.
No, I didn't say that. Actually, I did not say no one will give you it. I think you could get that easy. I still think it's silly from a dilution perspective. Everyone thinks success is how much you raise.
I don't know. Yeah. No, and that's not my point, right? My point is not to raise so that I can show off, but it is so that I want to be able to build the business so that it sustains itself, and I don't get into that crazy cycle of trying to raise every 6 to 12 months.
No, but Robin, the second, if you raise $2 million, you can't just sit. You have to go spend that. You increase your burn. That is what becomes the crazy cycle. A bootstrapper who only spends what his customers pay him or her is sustainable. They will outlast the VC-backed competitor every time, and they will probably win every time. An example is call tracking metrics versus Chorus, right? Bootstrapped 20 million bucks in ARR, very sustainable. Raising VC is not a path to sustainability. It's the opposite. They want you to go to $1 billion or zero faster. That's the opposite of sustainable.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's fair. It's, I think it may also depend on the people you raise from, like what is that VC's investment philosophy. Some of the folks I'm talking to, I think we're on the same level.
Robin, find me a VC that doesn't want you to go to $1 billion or zero in the next 2 years. Find me a VC that says, Robin, it's cool. Just build a nice, sustainable business that flatlines at 20 million in revenue, but it's very profitable and you pay yourself dividends. If you find me a VC that says that.
Yeah, fair enough. And that is obviously not my VC pitch. And of course I want to grow the company, but I don't want to go crazy, right? I want to do it my way. I realize that I do need external funding to stand out.
That's what I'm trying to understand.
Compete.
Why have you told yourself that story? I think it's a false narrative.
I think that there is some merit in what you're saying, and I think I will go back and evaluate what you're saying, if that fits into how I'm thinking of running the business, of where I see myself in the next 12 to 18 months. But I think over the past 10 months since we've been building the business, this approach of raising this sort of money at this sort of valuation seemed to sit well with me.
It's going to suck. It's really going to suck. You're going to raise 2 million at a 10 pre.
Yeah.
Fine, whatever. Your buddies that you take your old boss's money, whatever. Great for you. Then you're going to keep growing revenue and you're going to get a $6 million acquisition offer. And you still own 70% of the business. You'd love to take that deal because it makes you rich very quick. It gets blocked. You can't do that because you have to sell for at least a couple times the valuation that the folks just put money in at. So now you're stuck on this like mousetrap where it's like IPO or bust. Your optionality is drastically decreased. Right.
Well, but I mean, wouldn't I actually be in a good space if something like that happened, Nathan? Like, all things considered, I'm trying to build something new. It's risky. It looks like I've done well enough where someone is offering me a good chunk of money that is like, okay, you've built something really valuable. Now, of course, there's the difference in valuations. Like I'll give you 6 versus, you're valued at 10. Sure, there may be some heartburn, but for me, I'm like, oh, okay. So, my idea was cool enough where people want to actually give me money for it. Now I just
Does that
have
make
to,
you feel good? Does that make you feel good deep down? It gives you light and bubbly inside?
that someone will pay me money for
No, they're
what
not
I've done,
paying you. They're not paying you for your
or they're
tool.
buying.
They're signing you up for a track that is billion or nothing in the next 2 years on a VC track where you're raising every 12 months, otherwise risking a down round. Happiness levels are harder to manage, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
They're not using your product, are they?
The VCs, yeah, obviously not, but I don't know. I mean, if I get into the right VCs, I'll get introduced to the right right pipeline of customers. Have that cohort, get that network going.
Yes. Network, cohort, customers, of course. Yes, all sounds great. I mean, look, by the way,
Yeah,
if you give me 2 million,
if they put me on a $1 billion track, billion or bust, I think it's still okay. As a first time founder, solo founder now, if I'm put on that track and what are the odds on day one, right? Like 90% of going bust and like, I don't know, 95 going bust and 5% of going to $1 billion. That's okay because one, I've hedged my bets, right?
but what about
VC money?
Robin, sorry, what is wrong? What about the percentage that is you grow to a $3 million or $5 million business that you own 95% of and you're making personally $2 million a year? Why can't that be a percentage of the outcome?
I don't know.
You've got a 60% shot of doing that. You've got the largest, everyone listening right now, if you're starting out, you've got the largest percent shot at bootstrapping to $1 million to 2 to 3 to 5 and building a beautiful life, right? That is like the least risky way to sort of build a great company. The second you raise VC, the odds that you go to zero are much higher, but also you slightly increase the odds that you go up to, and be one of the one out of, $1,000 billion unicorns.
Yeah.
Anyways, we can debate this all day long. I'm being a little facetious here to just push it, right? But ultimately, it's obviously your decision, and you'll make the right one for you at this time. So this is good. Tell me more about the product. So it looks like what I'm getting is basically a pop-up on Zoom calls to prompt me to say the right things in like my sales pitch. Is that sort of the use case right now?
Yeah, so I think you nailed it. Like if you want to simplify what SmartQ does is think of it as a teleprompter for your sales team when they're on these Zoom calls. So depending on where they are, it'll contextually sort of cue you up, tell you what to say, depending on your industry use case. Like, the problem with sales demos or product demos today is that they suck because they're very vanilla, very cookie cutter, and not always personalized, right? And
I would love, by the way, if that was a header on your website. The Zoom teleprompter for salespeople, and ideally add a niche on the end for salespeople in healthcare.
Yeah.
But you communicate that. I got it instantly the second I scrolled down. Like it makes perfect sense. So
yeah, and I'm writing it down because I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably put it on my website.
Well, that's your idea, not mine. You said it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But yeah,
so
that's what it is. Yeah.
And how are you? So moving forward, you're targeting Slack groups. You're testing some other stuff. 6 customers today. Are you hiring? What's the team size right now? How many people?
It's just me right now. Okay. It's just me right now and a dev team.
Small. Yep. How much do you pay the dev team per month?
Like I said, put in 8K and we're putting in about $1,000 a month.
Okay. And where are they based? Yeah. Argentina, Krakow, somewhere else?
They're actually in India. They're based in Bangalore. Yeah.
Bangalore, interesting. Dev Bangalore, 4 people. Very cool. Are you going through like Coditas or a firm like that? Or you know these people directly?
No, I know these folks.
Yeah, that's very cool. All right, let's wrap up with the famous 5. Number 1, Robin, favorite business book?
0 to 1 by Peter Thiel.
Number 2, CEO you're following or studying?
This guy called Vijay Shekhar Sharma of Paytm in India.
TMC. Okay, number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building a business?
Loom.
Yep, that's a good one. Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
Do you want an average?
Yes.
I want to say like 5.
All right, not bad. And what's your situation? Married, single, kids?
Married, 9 years, no kids.
Oh, wow. Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 36.
36. Last question. Something you wish you knew when you were 20.
That it's easy enough to start a business and it's okay to fail.
Guys, there you have it. Get SmartQ launched here in 2021, just started pricing in September. So call it a month, 2 months ago. They went from nothing to $1,000 a month in revenue in under, call it 45 days. Now looking to scale, considering raising $2 million at a 10 million valuation. We'll see what happens there, but he's basically put in $8K to get the MVP built. He owns over 95% of the business and leverages a dev team in Bangalore, 4 people. He pays $1K per month to keep pushing the product forward. Again, teleprompter for salespeople on Zoom. We'll see what happens next, Robin. Thanks for taking us to the top.
Thank you so much, Nathan, for having me.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.